investigator Ryan Philman, who is a 2005 graduate from Friendship High School. He was also in my 7th grade science class over at Dunbar Science Academy, so I'm really excited to have him here. He is going to show off this bad boy right here, Android 6, and also talk about working on the bomb squad. So there'll be lots of fun opportunities for things he's going to show off, and lots of opportunities for you to ask questions. So y'all give him a big welcome. Thank you so much for coming out.
How's everyone this afternoon? Is this after school or did it already? It's after school. Sweet. So she said, my name's Ryan Philman. I work for the Lubbock Sheriff's Office. Part of what I do there is I work for the Regional Bomb Squad. So just a little bit about me, maybe. Like I said, I was a Friendship High School graduate, I was in the class of 2005. Before I graduated, I did basically what y'all are doing now. I was part of our engineering club. We went to state robotics a couple times. Got to go to nationals for rocketry once in Washington, D.C. Do y'all still do the rocketry thing? I see the big rocket up there.
No, we build big robots now.
Hey, that works too. But this whole thing kind of excites me. I kind of get to go full circle with this because I get to come back and talk to the kids that I once was. As a student here, you know, I always thought that, hey, engineering was this like linear thing where I was going to go to college and I was going to build stuff and that was the way it was going to be. And I took kind of this non-traditional approach to stick with the things that I love to do. So I've been with the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office. I just started my 14th year there. I started in police work right as soon as I turned 21, which is the age you have to be in Texas to do that. I've been with the Lubbock Bomb Squad for the last 7 years. And the way the Bomb Squad works, your first kind of couple years in the Bomb Squad, you're almost kind of like an apprentice. You're kind of learning things. There's some other classes you have to take before you can go to bomb school. And then you get to go to school to become what's called a bomb technician. I did that in 2017, so for about the last 4 years, I've been a bomb technician. In addition to all of those things, that's kind of my side job. What I do on a daily basis is I work in our criminal investigations division. What I do in our criminal investigations division is I do cell phone and digital forensics. I bet y'all probably realize there's a whole lot of stuff that's on your cell phone, right? And so that's the true for bad guys as well. So whenever we get bad guys, I can actually forensically look at their phone, look at what they've deleted, seen, and help solve cases that way. What does the Bomb Squad do? Well, the Lubbock County Bomb Squad, we actually are assigned by the FBI 22 counties in the area. We respond to suspicious objects, suspicious packages, bomb threats. Has anyone ever heard of us even existing before? A couple people? Well, there's a whole lot that don't, and that's a good thing, because the only time you hear about us is when we really mess up. So we also do a lot of explosive recovery. Something a lot of people don't realize is that the areas kind of around here, especially around World War II, were used as target ranges by the Army. So we get a bunch of unexploded ordnance around here. We also provide support to other teams and agencies in the area. So we can actually deploy our robot and any other assets we have for like our SWAT team, hostage negotiations, just anything that you can think of where a robot might be better than sending a person, we can actually do that and probably have done that. Just a couple of the things I've been involved with since I've been here. Shortly after I got out of bomb school, a guy robbed a Happy Steak bank with an explosive device. I actually was the one that went in and took care of that device. And then most recently, I went to Levelland for a suspicious device, and the lesson of that call is to always remember what you order on the internet, because we got a call, they shut down City Hall, we showed up, and this guy explained to me what it looked like. He said, it looks like a cooler and it's got some wires coming out of it. I don't know what it is. So couldn't get the robot in, so I put that 90-pound suit right there on, went inside, looked at it, came back out and said, hey, I don't think it's a bomb. It looks like I described it as a redneck air conditioner. I was like, it's got vents on the front, it's a cooler, it's got like a wire sticking out of it to plug into a car. And the same guy that just sat there and described that to me said, oh, we ordered one of those. What is a bomb technician? Like I said, you kind of apprentice with the bomb squad for a little bit, and then you go to what's called Hazardous Devices School. What Hazardous Devices School is a school in Huntsville, Alabama that is actually ran by the FBI. Every single bomb technician in the country is trained to the same standard with the same equipment. I could go just about anywhere in the country, hop on their truck, and be ready to go with the equipment they had just because of the standardization of training. As part of that, you basically live in Alabama for about 6 weeks to get your basic certification, and then you eventually end up going back I've been there off and on for probably the last 3 months, catching up on training because COVID canceled basically everything I had prior to that. If you ever get to look at Huntsville, Alabama, it's a super cool place. NASA does all of their operations out of there. The FBI is moving almost all of their operations there, and the ATF works out of there. It's also an Army base, and the Space Force is setting one of their main base of operations there. But a lot of stuff goes on at that little base. The science of explosives. Like I said, there's a lot. Whenever I got into law enforcement, I thought I was leaving my aspirations of engineering and robotics and science behind me. I thought I was going to go catch and prosecute bad guys. Chemistry. Almost every explosive is a chemical, right? There's actually explosive chemists. I've been to a class called Homemade Explosives. It's a really cool class because they have doctors of explosive chemistry there, and you actually get to make homemade explosives. But whenever we're dealing with a device or we go into a house that may have explosives inside of it, we have to look at that and say, hey, what is this? And those FBI explosive chemists are on call 24/7. I can actually call them anytime and go, hey, this is what I think I've got. And they'll tell me how to either destroy it, neutralize it, or tell me I just need to blow the whole thing up in place. Physics is a big part of what we do. So part of what I just got back from is a 2-week class for the ATF called Advanced Explosive Destruction Techniques. Part of that class is basically you destroy a whole lot of explosives, but it's doing the math involved in that. So when I have 5 pounds of explosives, I need to know exactly how far back people can stand and not get hurt, because whenever an explosion goes off, there's this blast wave that goes with it. If you've ever seen videos of like really big explosions, you can usually see that blast wave. It looks like a big bubble over it. Well, if you're in that wave, sometimes you may not have any physical damage, but humans are basically a big bag of water, right? So that shockwave going through your body can cause damage to your internal organs. So part of that is doing the math to figure out exactly how far people can be back from any given explosion. That equation right there is one of them I use. D is for distance, K is the PSI that I'm desiring to get to, and then the cube root of W is the explosive weight that I'm looking at. What happens when we get that wrong? Just ask LAPD. They figured it out this last year. The miscalculation is a severe understatement. I was told exactly how much they put into that. I don't know, they must have missed a decimal on their math or something, because they definitely did not do their math correctly. Robotics and remote operations. I'm just going to go through the slideshow real quick, and then I'm going to show you kind of what this robot can do. But just some background on this robot. This robot's an Andros F6A. It's made by Remotech. Remotech is a sub-company from Northrop Grumman. I don't know. They make airplanes and all sorts of stuff. The Lubbock Bomb Squad actually has this, an F6A, and then we actually have a second robot, which is the Andros Titus. It's a much smaller robot, but it can't lift as much, and it's actually on another response vehicle. The other thing we do whenever you can't get a robot in somewhere, because it's not the end-all be-all of what we do, is when the robot's not going to fit, You have to put that suit on, and those bags over there, I'll show you here in a minute. Has anyone ever seen like the simple machine where you like, or like a Rube Goldberg machine where you're trying to pull something out of somewhere? That's basically what that is. It's a bunch of pulleys, rope. We use mechanical advantage. Does that ring a bell with anyone that's been through physics? We'll use the pulleys. Say we're approaching something and we have a large object in the way. We'll actually use that kit with pulleys to pull stuff out of the way. So as I said, when I was going through physics in high school, I was like, man, I'm never going to use this stuff, and now it's something that I have to put into account or take into account all the time. The bomb suit, that's what's sitting right there. That's an EOD-9 bomb suit. It's made by Med-Eng. The actual suit itself is about 90 pounds, and the helmet is no lightweight either, but everything in the suit is made out of armor. So it's to make a blast more survivable. I always think it's cool just to have the helmet, but that's probably about another 15 pounds or so on your head. Hopefully it makes things survivable. Did I? Maybe. I'm at the very end. Oh well, we'll just go this way.
Try clicking, it says,
There we go. So another one of the cases I got to be involved in, and I try to include this in all my kind of public addresses that I do, is this is a guy out of Lubbock that got caught trying to make explosives, and he had decided that he was going to commit an act of terrorism. The reason I add this to all my presentations is it's important. I can't do my job unless people report things whenever they see them. And so the reason he got caught is he had ordered a bunch of chemicals that were used to make explosives, and someone realized that he was ordering all these chemicals and alerted us to it. So as I'm sure most of y'all have been told in active shooter protocol and everything else for the school, if you see someone talking about something like that, tell somebody that, because if we can catch them before I'm actually walking down on a device, I would appreciate it greatly. In this is the BombTech Memorial in Huntsville, Alabama. It's got all of the names of every bomb technician that's lost their life in the line of duty doing bomb work. I just think it's important because, yes, I get to have a lot of fun, but there's a very serious human aspect to what I do. Can I answer any questions for anyone? Yes?
how old is that model of the robot?
How old is it? So the actual robot itself is probably about 18 years old, but it went through a retrofit probably, I'd say 3 years ago now. It used to be, it didn't have a wireless system on it. It had basically a big cord that ran off the back, and that's how you had to run the robot. So whenever they upgraded it, they did a wireless upgrade to it and then set it up to the most current standards. It's still a robot that's being produced. The Titus, the other robot that I showed you, is our newest robot. We got it probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's a little bit newer model in that you're gonna see me run this one with a big old control panel. That one actually runs with like a PS4 controller. And so you can actually hook the PS4 controller into like the wireless assembly or directly into the robot and control the robot.
Is this part of your demo?
Yeah.
How many different wiring parts or panels are there on?
I don't know specifically. So the robot itself, it's got kind of a lower chassis, which is the kind of legs you see there, the wheels and the treads. And then it's actually got a fully independent arm on top. And I'll kind of extend that out here in a minute. You have to kind of think about the arm as kind of like your arm. it's got a shoulder, it's got an elbow, it's got a wrist, and then it's got a claw on the end. And so those things allow us to be super accurate in what we do with the robot.
It's got a lot of wires.
So as I said, it's got those treads on the front and back. They enable it so we can go upstairs if we need to. So if I need to go up a stair with it, I can actually put those treads up and then it'll get tread on those stairs. And then I can actually use the back articulator to steady its way up the stairs. But as far as like So as I said, when you're looking at the arm, you kind of have to think about it as your arm. This part down here is kind of the shoulder. This is the elbow, and this is the wrist. And then as part of that, we can also rotate the hand, or we can extend it in and out. But we can also be very precise with it. Oh, I got it. I forgot to turn my speed down. So when it comes to this thing, nothing is fast. So the robot itself is about 600 pounds, but it actually has the strength and ability to, we can actually, if we have like a downed operator or something, or say someone that's been shot in the line of fire, we can actually drag a person with this robot. So we've been on scene for hours at a time. The call that was at this was actually on the news for, we were out there probably 8 hours or so. That was a real long day. But like I said, we can be really precise with it. That's just one of kind of the stupid human tricks we do with it whenever we're practicing. So, but any other questions I can answer about bomb work? Or?
Have you ever brought it into a home?
Yes. So it goes into houses all the time. Like this, it's very easy to do. Whenever we're operating it wirelessly on a TV screen, it's a little bit harder. Think about how things like depth perception and stuff like that go away whenever you're looking at a TV. Now try operating like an arm in that same kind of space. So it takes a lot of practice to remotely operate it. but we have options available to us if, say, we're going down a smaller hallway or something. These tires will actually come off and it can operate on just the treads. So
How do you use these things with like bomb? Does it help use them? Does it take them out? Does it...
So we use it for a variety of things. We'll use it to recon and check out a situation, see what's downrange. These little mounts right here actually there's a variety of tools that we can actually put on them to help us render safe a device, but that's not something I can really talk about. So, yes.
So you said this could pull something.
Yes.
We're not gonna do this.
No, we're not going to demonstrate that part of it.
Yes, it can grab you around the neck and pull you out the door.
I think safe wants to be demonstrated upon.
No.
But
There's one over there.
yes. Do what? It can pull. I know that number, but I'm not really allowed to talk about that number either. So,
Remember, there's some things they gotta keep confidential for security and things like that, so.
Just look at the tires.
That tells you a lot. And the big motor.
it can move a lot.
Probably twice its weight.
Probably
So,
way
yeah.
more. Can lift more than me.
So the battery, it's got two 12-volt. It's basically batteries you could go down to Battery Joe or whatever and buy. And then we actually wire them up ourselves now because Remotech will sell you the batteries, but they're like $12,000. So we'll go buy them from Battery Joe and wire them up ourselves. They're just, they're basically like car batteries, like they're small ATV batteries. They're just kind of,
Gonna try to get one.
I bet they look just like you.
they do, they look a heck of a lot like that.
Yeah.
Do we use those?
Yes.
That's the ones that we use in our body. It probably uses them very similar.
We just hooked up
I'm pretty sure.
So are y'all building robots or
Yeah.
is there like a competition or?
In January.
Well, the season starts in
Season
January.
starts in January. We are part of the FRC First Robotics Competition,
Gotcha.
and we build big robots like the one behind you there to do different functions as well.
That was our bot from last year.
So it's kind of like I did BEST back in the day. So that's nicer than what we built because we had like 6 weeks to build it and it was,
We've only had 6 weeks to build that one, but we have to look at whatever the competition rolls out on the 8th,
yeah.
and then we have right at about 7 weeks to figure out how we're gonna build it from the ground up and make it operational.
Okay.
And they're not limited to the kit like Best was. You were limited to a certain set of supplies, but we can there are rules about what we can use on it, but it's a much more wide open array of possibilities. So,
There's some classes that also build like actual robots, like robotics 1 and 2. But then the other 2 years we're learning about.
That's way more than when I was in school. So where do y'all get to like y'all's ideas for like machining or how stuff works or?
Ask me at the cost.
Probably looking at last year's winners for competition.
Gotcha.
Because if you go on, I forgot what it was, the website, it has, I think, back all the way to 2015, we can download the CAD files and look at the robot.
Well, so this one's got some interesting ways in the way that it operates the arm and other stuff. I'm more of a hands-on person. If y'all want to come up here and look at this, I can run the arm up and down for you. If y'all want to see exactly how it operates, I'd be more than happy to show you. I realize COVID and all of that, but